Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the special council meeting, our virtual meeting for December the 30th. It is 8 a.m. And with that, I would like to ask for a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
It's moved by Councillor Thorne, seconded by Councillor Bannister. Questions to the motion? Seeing no questions, all in favor? Aye.
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 Contrary minded, motion carried. Remind everyone that there's conflict of interest forms. If you need one, let the clerk know, fill it in and email it to her, I guess, stating the reason, and we will have you step out. With that, we'll move on to item number 4, reports of administration, year-end budget transfers. I believe we have 7 motions to go through.
Yes, I think there's actually one extra. I think there's 8 now. I think because we did add one this morning that I didn't get Scott last night, so that's on me. But I sent an email last night with some quick overviews, but I'll give a really quick synopsis. Every year we have to do this before the end of the day on December 31st. And so this year, our projected year-end income is about 8.2 million. I'm rounding down. That's more than our 7.8 budgeted for 2025, mostly due to the usual increase in grant amounts and in particular building permits this year. Our projected year-end expenses are at about 8.1 million and includes things that are adjusted in the following calendar year. So power, certain like the last week of payroll, all of those sorts of things that have adjustments done as part of the audit process. In 2025, we did anticipate making 2 transfers from reserves. So pulling from our reserves from this meeting last year and using them for projects this year. Based on the difference in our income projected versus budgeted, we're recommending leaving those in reserves. The first one was for Sunrise and Twilight. We were able to continue doing that exclusively through this year's operating budget, mostly due to the fact that that's majority funded by RDC still. And the second one being for the trail project. Part of that was not done this year, and keeping it in reserves will allow us to maximize this year's funding and then use what's now in reserves towards next year's work with a new agreement with RDC that we'll aim to get in the spring. Based on all of those numbers, the projected surplus is about 140,000. We're recommending transferring about 70,000 of that to capital reserves as well. With the remainder being things that are being transferred, like the meeting last year, that will be pulled out next year. And then in the utility operating, we anticipated needing to use the capital reserves for the pump that was purchased in June or July. Based on that, those projections as well, we're recommending just doing that capital to operating as well. And just doing our budgeted transfer to reserves for the utility. So with that, there are 7-ish motions, and then we can answer any questions as we go or at the end, whatever works.
Okay, I'll move that in addition to the 3,000 contribution budgeted for the financial assistance for recreation FAR program, council transfer an additional $2,000, totaling 5,000 financial contribution.
So moved by Councillor Bannister, seconded by, I believe that was Mayor Blinas. Questions to the motion? Being no questions, all in favor? Aye.
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 Contrary minded, motion carried. I'd like to take item number 2.
I'll do it. I'll move that whereas Section 101B of the Local Governance Act permits the local government to establish, manage, and contribute to a capital reserve fund, be it therefore resolved that the sum of $24,000 be transferred to the town's capital reserve fund as budgeted.
Seconded.
So moved by Councillor Thorne, seconded by Councillor Gallant. Questions to the motion? Seeing no questions to the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. With that, moving on to item number 3.
I'll move that whereas Salisbury Town Council during a special meeting on December 30th, 2024, transferred a total of $380,000 to the town's capital reserve fund as authorized by Section 101B of the Local Governance Act for the purposes of undertaking renovations at the Salisbury Town Hall, which have now been completed. Be it therefore resolved that council authorize the withdrawal of $380,000 from the capital reserve fund to be utilized towards the capital improvements at Town Hall.
Seconded.
So moved by Councillor Glantz, seconded by Councillor Thorne. Questions to the motion? Being no questions to the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Moving on to item number 4.
I'll move that whereas the town under the residential development program has approved a contribution of $40,000 under the residential development stream for project number 559370 and held such funds this year accordingly. Be it therefore resolved that $40,000 be deposited into the town's general operating reserve fund as permitted by Section 101A of the Local Governance Act, and that the chief administrative officer be authorized to withdraw and disperse such funds at project completion pursuant to the agreement in 2026.
Seconded.
Pretty close. I'm not sure who got the second, but moved by Deputy Mayor Obolinas, seconded by Councillor Bannister. Questions to the motion? Being no questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Moving on to item number 5. Who'd like to read that?
Is
Number
5
5
exactly
looks
the
like a
same?
duplicate.
It is, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
5 is a duplicate.
Yeah. Number 6.
5A or 6A, whatever we want to call it.
Where's Mr. Weeb? Is he there?
He's
I
down
am,
one,
but
can't
I
see
don't
him.
have my tablet.
Oh,
I'll move that whereas Section 101B of the Local Governance Act permits the local government to establish, manage, and contribute to a capital reserve fund, be it therefore resolved that the sum of $75,000 be transferred to the town's capital reserve fund based on 2025 budgetary projections.
Seconded.
I'll second.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor Obolinas. Questions to the motion? Being no questions to the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. All right, who would like to read the next motion?
I'll move that whereas Section 1177 of the Local Governance Act permits the establishment of utility capital reserves, be it therefore resolved that the sum of $20,000 will be transferred to the town's utility capital reserve based on 2025 projections.
Seconded.
So moved by Councillor Bannister, seconded by Councillor Gallant. Questions to the motion? Being no questions, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Contrary minded? Motion carried. Moving on to I believe the last motion.
I'll move that whereas Salisbury Town Council during a special meeting on December 30th, 2024 transferred a total of $15,000 to the town's capital reserve fund as authorized by Section 101B of the Local Governance Act, being the 2024 prize for being named New Brunswick's most active community to be earmarked for a future recreational project. Be it therefore resolved that council authorized the withdrawal of $15,000 from the capital reserve fund to be utilized towards the Roxborough Port Park project. So moved.
Second.
So moved by Councillor Thorne, seconded by Councillor Bannister. Questions to the motion? Being no questions, all in favor? Aye.
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 Reminded, motion carried. With that, we'll move on to item number 2, which is a resolution for the amended CCBF capital investment plan.
So this is the same plan, just reflects the addition that council authorized in principle in April, and we just wanted it to be approved in the same calendar year as the addition of McDonald Road.
I'll move that the revised document entitled Salisbury 5-Year Capital Investment Plan for the Canada Community Building Fund, CCBF, 2024 to 2028, be adopted, amended as presented.
Moved by
Seconded.
So moved by Councillor Glantz, seconded by Councillor Thorne. Questions to the motion?
Just a clarifying question. This was done for the work that was done this year, correct?
Yeah, the McDonald Road project was added this year, and then but it wasn't in the plan initially. So that project came in over budget. So in April, we earmarked funds from CCBF for that, mostly because we had a project for the boardwalk last year that we didn't need to use CCBF dollars for. So it's just a switch of projects on the fund.
Thank
I
you.
have a question, not regarding this, but something else that was on that plan. Can I ask it now or?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just for the, we had a contribution from the ATV club and a contribution from the Snowmobile club, but they weren't equal amounts. Like the ATV club gave 20,000 and the Snowmobile club, well, the Federation gave 20,000, but the Snowmobile club only gave 10. How come they didn't give equal amounts?
Technically, they both gave 10, but the ATV club through Quad MB also they can go through TIF, so Trail Investment Fund or Trail Improvement Funds.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they contribute 10. The province matches 10, but that money flows to us through Quad MB.
Okay.
So each of our local clubs both contributed 10, but the Quad MB portion was also able to tap into provincial funding to match their 10 for a total of 20.
Okay.
Good information.
Thank you.
Okay, good information. See no additional questions. All in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. No contrary minded, motion carried. With that, I'd like to wish everyone a very safe and happy new year. And thank you for everything that you've all done this year. And with that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Oh, that was Councillor Eichster. He got in there with everything else. All right, I don't need a seconder on that. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Everyone.
Right, bye-bye.
Happy New
Happy New
Year.
Year.